Hi everybody, it is Kelsie and we are here with episode 7 of Healthy Living Tips, and today we are talking about our guts and their bugs. So the first thing we think about with our guts is definitely not bugs, I would think. But I want to talk about our human microbiome and what it consists of, what it does, how it can help us, how it can hinder us. So I want to talk about some terms first. So I'm going to use digestive tract, GI, and those terms are going to be pretty like interchangeable today. So just wanted to talk about that real quick. So our digestive system is most commonly known for processing the energy that we have consumed and then expelling the waste product. So the food that we eat gets processed by our digestive system and then we expel it, right? So that's the most common thing that we think of when we think of our GI tract. Our GI also impacts our metabolism as well as our immune system. So actually 75% of our immune system is located in our GI tract. So the system that protects us from getting sick from those bad viruses and bad bacteria is located in our guts. So we're going to talk about the importance of that. So has anyone ever heard of the gut brain? Well, so the GI tract is highly innervated, making connections between our brain and our gut. So this connection means how we feel mentally may affect how we feel physically and vice versa. So how we feel physically in our guts may affect how we feel mentally as well. So that's crazy. The connection there is just so close. So it's very important to foster how our guts feel. So I used the term human microbiome earlier. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and expand upon that. So nurturing our gut requires nurturing the trillions of bacteria that colonize it or live in there. We have about 10 times more bacterial cells in and on our body than we do human cells. What? That's a lot of bacteria. Oftentimes we think of bacteria as being bad, but in the case of our GI, most of the bacteria in there are good and help us function optimally. So the relationship between our body and these bacteria is known as symbiotic. So this means the bacteria need us to be doing well for them to grow and thrive. And we need our bacteria to be growing well and doing well for our bodies to grow and thrive. So it's very, very similar and they're very dependent on each other. So research in the field of mapping the human microbiome and the factors that impact it, it is outstanding, the research that is being done, and it is far from over. All the scientific studies and journals on the human microbiome and the impact of gut health on our overall being is crazy. So I encourage you guys to do your own research on that and just find out how you can foster the relationship between our gut and our physical bodies. But it is known that the more diverse of a colony, so the different types of strands and the amount per strand that you have, so that diversity of colonies in that gut bacteria is known to create a healthier environment within our gut and help us reach our goals faster. And a less diverse and less amount of gut bacteria actually could have a poor impact on our physical health. So having a highly populated, diverse population of bacteria within our GI is actually going to help us out a lot. So we've talked about how important it is and what it is, but how can we improve it? And how do we feed those good bacteria that are keeping us healthy? So I'm going to switch back and talk about nourishing foods and nourishing our body. And what kind of foods have we talked about that make us feel nourished? Those whole foods that, come from the ground, come from trees, whole fresh foods that make us feel really good and energized. Those are the type of foods that the bacteria within our body like to eat on as well. And especially fermented foods. Fermented foods have their own bacteria, good bacteria, growing in them or in that food. So examples of fermented foods would be yogurt, kimchi, kombucha, sauerkraut, and miso, and kefir. So that is just a small snippet amount of fermented foods that could have a good impact on your gut health. Again, I encourage you to do your research on those types of foods as well. But as an example, on a container of yogurt, on the back side of it, there should be a little part on the label that says contains such and such bacteria in this many types of part per billion. So go ahead and take a look on your yogurt container if that's a food that you enjoy, and just see what type of bacteria is in there. And remember that the more diverse bacteria within a food, probably the healthier that your gut may become. So keep an eye on those food labels, folks. And so let's talk about what could hinder our gut health and the impact that non-nourishing foods could have on our gut. So just as nourishing foods make us feel really, really good, and our gut bacteria thrives on that and can produce and colonize more, non-nourishing foods, so I'm talking like foods with long expiration dates or shelf dates, foods kind of like stale foods, like canned foods, which again aren't bad, but they are not nourishing to our gut bacteria to helping them thrive and flourish. So they can also hurt our gut bacteria. So there's a lot of things that we need to take into consideration when trying to reestablish a really good population of gut bacteria. So I know that this was a lot of information, but I hope that it sparked your interest in the human microbiome and the importance of our guts and their bugs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below, or reach out to me directly from the Y, or any one of us from the Y. We'd be happy to help. I hope you guys are enjoying some time outside. This weather is beautiful, and I cannot wait to hopefully see you all sooner rather than later. So enjoy this week, and I will see you next week for episode 8.